Hi there, and welcome to Darlene's Creative Studio. Today is day 17 of the Creative Journal Prompt Challenge, and we're going to be working with 2-inch circles. So I've grabbed the prompt, let's add some 2-inch circles, and I've already added my date and distressed the edges. So we're going to glue that in the book real quickly. Get that out of our way here. Put that in there. Like that. And flip that over. And let's write in, use 2-inch circle punch. Scrapbook paper. And stickers. January 17th, 2020. All right. Get that out of the way. So what I was going to work with today, I wanted to use the 2-inch circle punch to create some of the cards for our, let's grab my binder here. For our flip out here, we needed to make some cards for our longer portions of this envelope, and I've added our journaling cards that we made the other day. I've added 2 in here, and we've got 2 of our photos, so we just need those journaling cards, the longer ones, to go in there to close that up. So let's move him out of the way. So all I'm going to use today is, this is what we're going to make, a scrap piece of the Tim Holtz paper. I'm going to punch a 2-inch circle here, and we're going to add a little sticker in there and use some of that lined paper and embellish it a little bit. So I'm going to grab a piece of the Tim Holtz paper, and this was a 12-inch piece that I cut into, and I needed the pockets. I measured the pockets, and they are 3.5 inches here and here, and then this one's skinnier because we had to glue it along the edge here, so I just made this one 3.25 inch. And because I don't have a sewing machine and I would have normally have sewn down these seams, I just took my glue and opened the envelope and added a little bead of glue along that seam. So these are just glued closed, but I would normally sew these so that they are secure. So that is what we're going to be adding, that's where we're going to be putting our tags. So I'm starting with a piece of scrapbooking paper, which is 8.5, which is the height of the envelope. And then I've cut these. This one is 3.5, and so is the other one that I've made is 3.5. And then the third one is 3.25. And they should fit into each of the slots. So I think I'm going to leave this part showing, and I've taken a piece of that old family history book page, and these are the ones that have the gray images on them, and I've cut this one down so that it fits within and just leaves a little tiny border around the outside of the card because I want that card to show through the background. So this is 3 3/8 by 8 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the bottom portion of the paper on. Just the bottom portion. And we're going to place it within our little borders that we wanted. Make sure it's nice and even. So that is glued on from the bottom down. We've left this unglued because we're going to be punching our hole there. So we're going to take our 2-inch punch and we're going to slide it over, and I like to do it upside down so I can see where the hole is going to be, and I'm going to eyeball it. We're going to punch that out. We're going to save these because we might use those for something else. So there, that is our hole punched out, and we can still lift that up and slide whatever we're going to put in there. Now you can use an image, an old family photo, or whatever you like, but I decided I'm going to use some of these vellum stickers. And this is still on the plastic on the back. And I'm just going to slide that in there to kind of see where it's going to sit. I think I might need to just pull this up a smidge there. So I can slide that around. Now there might be some parts that might show through a tiny bit, but that one can go in there like that. See, there's just some little tiny edges there. But I'm just going to play with a couple of stickers and see which one I like in there the best. This one has a lot of the little holes. And then what I would do is just take a little piece of the vellum off the side and maybe put that over the edge. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that purple one there. So we're just going to slide that one in. I'm just going to pull that back a bit more. I'm going to slide it into where we want it, like that. Right there. And then I'm going to glue this down by gluing around the circle first. And then the rest of the book page as well. And I can do a little bit on here. Oops, I moved that, didn't I? So let's just move that back to where we wanted it. Right about there. And we're just going to lay that down very gently. There. And that's using the sticker without peeling it. So it still has the plastic on the back, so you can still see a little bit through the back there. And I'm just going to slide that over a bit there. Now I do have the spare pieces. This is all the backings off of the other stickers. So if I wanted to use something, and this is a little square piece, I could put that in there and then attach a picture or something behind it. But I wanted to use the vellum because then you could see it through the back as well. So we just added that little piece in there, and we'll save all these little pieces in case we want to do something else for a little window. Like I'm going to do some film negatives later, so I might use those for that. Now you can distress the edges of your pages here. Let me just slide all this out of the way, and we'll distress some of the edges. So let's take this one, and we'll just distress a little bit of the edges of the book page. To give it that vintagey feel. There. And we can do the same to this side just to give it some aged look. Not a lot. You don't need to, it to look a lot different. I really like this Tim Holtz paper. And I think this is from the memorandum pad. There we go. So we've got that one. So let's distress this edges. Go. And then I had cut out some of these out of some die cuts. This is cardstock, and I'm just going to add that to my image there. And then I have, this is a scrap from cutting from when I cut these down. These are just some little scraps. So I'm going to cut this to fit inside here. And I'm just going to trim that down a bit. And I just want it to fit within that little frame. I'll probably go a little tiny bit more. There we go. So that's going to fit within the frame. And then what I do is I just take my little corner. This is a 1/2 inch circle punch. And I'm just going to pop those corners in and cut them out. There and there. So we've got like a little shape to it. And we're going to distress the edges of this. It'd be easier to just do it this way because it's so thin and small. And then I'm going to glue that onto there. Little label, this guy. And then I just used my hole punch from my We Are Memory Keepers board, and it made these little tiny holes. And I'm just taking those little holes and I'm going to create some brads. So let's glue this down first to where we want it. Let's just put it right there. And then I'm just going to add a dab of glue here and here. And we're going to pick up one of these little circles very carefully and plop it down on top of that hole. Make sure it's where you want it. And I'm just going to spread that out a bit. There we go. Let's grab another one. And this is a scrap piece of paper that is the same as the background. So there, we have that. And then I've taken a piece of my muslin. And these are just scraps that I had. I think they're about 2 inches wide. And these were just leftover pieces. So I've just cut it 2 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this to the top for a tab. And I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. I like to use Fabri-Tac when I'm using the fabric just to make sure it sticks. Just going to eyeball that, center that over the center there, put that on there, flip it over. Going to add a little Fabri-Tac to the back here. And flip it over and glue it down. And there is another little tag. So we have that one and that one done. And those were the 3 1/2 inch. Let's see if they fit. Let's hope they fit. I did try them before. Oops. So these are going to go inside here. Oh, they have to be trimmed a small amount because they're a little tight. After gluing it closed, so wait a minute, how am I going? Yeah, see, they're a little tight, so I'm going to have to trim that down, unfortunately, or just make some new ones. So this one is the 3 1/4 inch, so there, that one fits in. And again, once you've glued these closed, I just like to take my ruler and slide those in, because sometimes you get a little drip of glue and it just kind of widens your space. Now let's see if that fits in better. There we go. Yeah, that's going to fit in there a little better. And that one's a little tight. Let's try that one. I think the inside of the envelope flap is catching. There we go. Yeah, that one's going to be a better fit for that side as well. Okay, so we're going to trim these down. These can also go in our long pocket here. We'll make a nice long one for that one as well. All right, so let's make this last one here. And again, I want to keep this side. Actually, let's keep that side as our back, and that's our front. Let's keep our little dots. Now, we can keep this one. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down a little bit. So we need it to be 3 1/8 by 8 1/2. 3 1/8. So that's the right width we want. And I'm going to leave this little picture on there, and then I don't think I'm going to cut out that little circle. So let's just cut this guy off. Here. And we'll save this little piece here. Let's see, should it go on the dark side or the light side? I think it's going to look better on the dark side. It makes it stand out a little better. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's just dress the edges first. Okay, so we just dress those edges, and let's glue this one down. And I think I'm just going to leave this one with the little picture right on it instead of cutting out a circle. Get this placed right where we want it. There we go. And I'm just going to fold this in half. Cut this down. Let's add this to the top of our one is the 2-inch side. It's 2 1/4, and that's 2 inches, so it's going this way. Right there. And I'm just going to put that on the top there. And again, we're eyeballing it. Side. And we'll add some glue to this one. I mean, I have to time getting this glue to come out. There go. There. And fold it down and just glue it to the back. And put the lid on there. And I'm just going to distress this back side here. And if you find that the back is a little too plain of your tag, just add some little bits and pieces. So we'll just dig in our little box here. I say I love that guy there. Let's add this one. Go. And I'm going to save this plastic because we used that in our film negatives yesterday. I like to use that for the windows of the negatives. So there we go. We got that guy in there. Set him aside. And let's try maybe, that one's a little bright and big. Another piece of that tape. Go. Let's put that there. There. So we just add a little bit more to the back of our tag there. And if you want to add another one of those little tags there, you can. I have a couple more here. They're a little bigger. That one might be too big. Got a little tiny baby one here. Actually, that one might be nice because it's just a little one. So let's see if we can find a piece of paper to use on the inside of this one. Just gonna get my pencil here. And we want it to be about there. Fit in there nicely, and then we'll just cut this end off here. And then do the same things with the corners. That's not a very straight cut, I don't think. And then we'll do the same things to the corners, just trim the corners off. Distress our edges, and again it's a little one, so I'm just going to do it this way. And I'm just going to glue that right into there. This one on to the front of my card here, right off centered there. Put it straight, and then we'll find our little dots, and we'll just add a few dots here. There we go. Right there and there. Let's grab a dot. On there. first one. Oops, we only want one, not two. And we'll add our second one. There. And there you go. And there is our third journaling card. So two of them we used the circle punch and used our vellum stickers, which we did not peel. We left them on the plastic so you can still see through the back. And then we have our journaling cards as well. And if I had any of that tape left, let me just quickly look here. I have some of these different little pieces here that I've received. That might be cute on there. There's a little girl's face. There's some little cars. A little tube, what I call there. That one's the one I want right there. Let's add some of this to the front. See how well these guys peel off. Oh, that one was perfect. Look at that. And we're just going to add that to the bottom here. Give it a little oomphy. And we'll add this one. That's our dryer ending. A little sailor tune. And I don't know which way is up for this writing. This way. Okay, let's add this guy on this side. There we go. So we've used our circle punch to create some circle tags, and then this one I just left plain because I had the picture on it already. And let's see if we can make something out of these little circles. Maybe that'll be a little side project for us. The other thing you can do to make a tag is take some scrapbooking cardstock paper. This is Tim Holtz scraps, and I took a piece and cut off the edges with my We Are Memory Keepers. So I had a tag shape. Then I punched a circle out of the bottom with my 2-inch circle punch, and again I just eyeballed it. So we have this tag with this cutout. This is another scrap of the Tim Holtz paper, and I wanted that little piece to show through. So I just took a piece of my cardstock and I lined it up like that. Got the picture that I wanted on the inside, drew some lines down the side and cut it out, and then made it a square. So there's what it's going to show through the circle, like that. And on the other side we will have that on the back. So let's glue that on really quickly here. And this is a great way to use up scraps and use your circle punch and get a different kind of tag. Let's see how that should work. Okay, so let's just place that on there. And I did trim out the other tags and they did fit in the pockets. So there we go. We've got that cut out there. Like that. And then I'm either going to take a tag like this and add my little punch there. Or I did create some using the cream colored book page and a stamp, and I created that. So I might just add that on there. Let's go ahead and do that. So we've got a little label on there. I'll put this guy on here. Like that, I'm going to punch a hole in the top there with my hole punch, and again I'm just going to eyeball it. And then this is a scrap of the muslin left over from when I was ripping the pieces apart. So always save your little pieces. You never know when you're going to use them. And I'm going to put this through here and pull the tails through that little loop. Like that, and tighten it up. And we've got a nice little tag. like that. And again, you can use some of these little stickers. Let's try that one, or we can add this one, or this one. Sandy there, and maybe that one there. Yeah, let's do that. Or maybe this one at the top. Yeah, I like that one. All right, and just use up some of these little stickers that we have. Or you can add a piece of the lined paper on the bottom so that you can journal there as well. I'm going to use this one for sure. I like this guy. There we go. We had it going and then it stopped. I'll save that backing for more of my film negatives. Let's put him up at the top here. And again, you can use a piece of the scrapbooking page for some lines there. Let's see what else I have in scraps here. I have, there, let's try that piece. So let's cut a piece for just to put over top of that little square there. We'll give him a quick cut. And that can go on the bottom like that right there. Let's distress those edges. Okay, and let's glue this guy on. There we go. And there we have another little way of using that circle and using up some of your scraps. I've also taken one of the 2-inch circles and I just used my washi tape. I was trying to find something that would fit within the circle, so I just traced my washi tape and I'm going to quickly cut this out. I don't have a smaller punch with me, so this is just an easier way of doing it. And we're just going to quickly cut that out. If I had my die cut, you can die cut some circles or a different shape, but we're just going to cut this out really quickly here. Distress our edges. And take one of our circles. Let's use this guy. He kind of goes with some of the other ones we've been doing, and glue him in there. Like that. And then if you want to, you can take your hole punch and punch a hole in the top of the tag. And again, get a little piece of our fabric here. Let's see, about that long there. Let's say that long. And I'm going to see if I can rip this in two. I might not be able to, but we'll give it a go. There we go. So we got a nice little thin piece. And we're going to fold that in half. Actually, it's a little long, so I'm just going to trim it a little bit less. All right. Fold that in half and put it through the hole. And we have, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Another way of using up your circle scraps. So don't throw these away. You can always use them. You can make them, put them inside another little circle pocket. There's tons of videos online for using up your circles and for using circles, for making tags. So just be inspired, look at a couple of videos and use your imagination, use up your scraps. Let's cut off those little tag things. There we go. And there is another tag that you can use up your circles for. And then we're just going to take our binder, get rid of the washi tape, and I'm going to place that tag in there in my little pocket, and this one can just be a little floater, can go here. I did get these inside the pockets here. So we have the skinnier one, we have the window one, and the other window one. There we go. And I think they're easier when you don't have, these photos have those little brads, so they're a little thicker, so it's easier to take them out and slide them in and out without them in there. But that is our trifold filled. And we've got a couple of tags in here. And we've got all our dividers done, our envelope, our password book. Let's see what else we can create to put in our binder for tomorrow. So that's it for day 17. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow and see what else we can create. Thanks so much for watching.